Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Nipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Prambanan temple complex in Yogyakarta before concluding his three-day visit to Indonesia. India to help conserve the Hindu temple complex, recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Prime Minister Modi to visit Melbourne to hold bilateral talks with the Australian Prime Minister Albanese. Defence, trade and investment on agenda. Visit aims to strengthen comprehensive strategic partnership between two nations. US launches fresh strikes on Iran after reinstating oil sanctions over vessel attacks in Hormuz. Tehran says attacks violate agreed MOU, warns of decisive action. Argentina keeps FIFA World Cup title defense alive with a stellar 3-2 win over Egypt. Switzerland beat Colombia on penalties to book quarter-final berth. And on to the details now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit the historic Prambanan temple on Wednesday, where India and Indonesia are launching a collaborative initiative to conserve Southeast Asia's second-largest Hindu temple complex. The visit reflects not only the growing strategic partnership between the two countries, but also the enduring civilizational links which have connected them for centuries. DD India's Siddharth Bharadwaj reports for more.
We are at the Prambanan temple complex, the largest Hindu temple complex in Indonesia, and a powerful symbol of the centuries-old cultural ties between India and Indonesia. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to visit this UNESCO World Heritage Site, a visit that is expected to strengthen the cultural ties between India and Indonesia.
These walls of stone, the intricate carvings, tell stories of faith, history, culture, and architectural excellence. This is the Prambanan Temple Complex, the largest Hindu temple complex in Indonesia. Built in the 9th century, it is today recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The main Prambanan complex is dedicated to the Hindu Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Its walls are adorned with intricate reliefs depicting episodes from the Ramayana, reflecting the centuries-old cultural links between India and Indonesia.
This temple is unique. Why? Because they make the temple in the 9th century, no cement, no glue. Because the system of the building is interlocking system. It means every single stone has rock, has a key, and one key matches only for one. And this temple unique because this temple for Shiva, but they made Brahma and Vishnu together. And Prambanan temple until right now still using to pray, yeah, because it is active temple to pray 3 times usually a day, morning, at noon, and then evening.
Centuries of earthquakes, natural weathering, and the passage of time have left their mark on these monuments, underscoring the importance of continued conservation to preserve this remarkable cultural heritage for future generations.
In Indonesia, the main place of engagement is the capital, Jakarta, but the Prime Minister will also be visiting the cultural center or historic city of Yogyakarta, where he will go to the Prambanan temple complex, where India is planning to work with Indonesia for the, which is, by the way, a World Heritage Site designated by UNESCO. So India and Indonesia will be collaborating on the conservation work there.
During Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit, India and Indonesia are set to launch a collaboration on conservation work at the Prambanan temple complex. Beyond preserving an ancient monument, the initiative reflects the two countries' shared commitment to protecting a cultural heritage that continues to connect their peoples.
Prambanan stands as a reminder of a shared cultural heritage that continues to strengthen ties between India and Indonesia. And as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to visit Prambanan, the monument is once again into focus. Not because it's Indonesia's most significant cultural landmark, but also a powerful symbol of the enduring cultural links between India and Indonesia. With camera person Kuldeep and Ashish, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India from Prambanan Temple Complex, Central Java, Indonesia.
Well, Prambanan is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. It's a tourist destination which also draws in pilgrims and historians. The monumental heritage has made it Indonesia's most visited and iconic attractions.
For many visitors, Prambanan is much more than an ancient monument. From its towering structures, to intricate stone carvings, to its rich history and cultural significance, the complex continues to attract visitors from all across the world. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Prambanan is among Indonesia's most visited cultural attractions. Every year, tourists, history enthusiasts and devotees come here to experience one of Southeast Asia's finest examples of Hindu temple architecture. Visitors are drawn not only by the towering temples, but also by the intricate reliefs depicting scenes from the Ramayana. The monument offers a glimpse into the rich Hindu-Buddhist heritage of ancient Java, while showcasing remarkable craftsmanship that has endured for centuries.
Oh, this is an amazing construction. It's so nice to see so many parallels between the Indian culture and the culture that has been brought over here. So many parallels between the construction of Hindu temples in India versus the temples here. Very, very proud to be Indian in this spot right now, and looking forward to having PM Modi here.
It's very impressive to come here and to get the history known, and yeah, it's very interesting for us and inspiring. Yeah,
impressed by the height and the buildings and also the people around who are visiting us. Just like us, we are learning new things.
Construction, the quality of the construction, the time that they have spent on keeping this up today, and the interest that the locals are showing, it's also very amazing to see.
I think it's maintained so clean here. The cleanliness and the architecture and the similarities between South Indian temples, the gopuras that we have in South India, and the parallels to the construction style here is like astonishing. So yeah, that's what captivated us.
Beyond its historical importance, Prambanan has become a major cultural destination, contributing to tourism in Yogyakarta and introducing visitors from around the world to Indonesia's diverse heritage. Whether one comes here for history, architecture, photography or spirituality, Prambanan Temple Complex leaves everyone with a deeper appreciation of Indonesia's rich cultural heritage, which of course continues to attract visitors from every corner of the world. With camera person Kuldeep and Ashish, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Prambanan Temple Complex, Central Java, Indonesia.
Well, Indonesia rolled out the red carpet for Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the second day of his state visit on Tuesday, with a focus on strengthening the strategic partnership. Bilateral talks with President Prabowo Subianto produced 20 outcomes, including cooperation on BrahMos and Astra air-to-air missiles, as well as maritime security. To understand more about this and what Indonesia thinks of it, DD India's Deepika Mehto got in an exclusive conversation with the Tourism Minister of Indonesia, who also spoke about Prime Minister Modi's upcoming visit to Yogyakarta's Prambanan temple. Take a listen.
So Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a lot of engagements here in Indonesia on the second day of his visit to Jakarta. And right now we are joined by the Minister of Tourism. Ma'am, thank you so much for exclusively talking to us.
Very much for visiting Indonesia. And I'm excited that Prime Minister Modi is in Indonesia to visit the President of Indonesia. And also he's going to visit Prambanan Temple. And we will be there to accompany the Prime Minister and the President. And we're excited that Indian tourists are growing in number who visit Indonesia, around 700,000 plus. Just last year they arrived, and we are continuing to increase the connectivity between the two countries from Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore as well. Would like to increase connectivity to Yogyakarta and Jakarta and Bali. And we also have events in Prambanan that maybe Ibu Wamen can talk about the Hindu, because she's also from Bali and she's Hindu, and she created an event, Shiva Ratri event festival in Prambanan. Maybe you can talk about that. Okay. We can promote.
Prime Minister and the President will visit Prambanan Temple, and this is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's fourth visit to Indonesia. How do you think, how will this give a new and fresh momentum to the ongoing India-Indonesia bilateral ties?
Yes, Indonesia and India has an MOU in tourism since 2000, and this visit is very special. I think it will boost the visibility of Indonesia and Yogyakarta, Prambanan to the Indian community or visitors. And I think this moment is very important for us.
Indeed. All right. So there you heard from the minister herself, that she says that this moment is very important for the bilateral ties for India and Indonesia. And with the visit to the Prambanan temple, not only the cultural ties will be strengthened, but the bilateral ties between both the nations will take a new shape and form. With camera person Uttam, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Jakarta, Indonesia.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday announced that a campus of India's prestigious Indian Institute of Management, or IIM Bangalore, will be established in Indonesia. The initiative is expected to strengthen educational ties and benefit students and young professionals across the ASEAN region. DD India's Achal Gulati caught up with Indonesia's Vice Minister of Higher Education, Stella Christie. Listen in.
So we are joined by the Vice Minister of Science, Technology and Education of Indonesian government, and let's hear from her the MOUs which have been exchanged between the two governments, how they're going to give impetus to science, technology and education sector. Ma'am, welcome to DD India. How you feel that this visit is going to give impetus to science, technology and innovation with the announcement of setting up IIM in Indonesia?
Yeah, we in Indonesia are really looking to see how India has been quite successful in delivering quality in a large quantity. You know, there are a number of nations that can deliver quality, but they are small nations. Both of our countries are actually faced with the same challenge, that we are really, really big nations. So how do we deliver quality in huge quantity?
That how do you feel that this partnership is going to give a booster dose to innovation and startups, as India is the third unicorn startup ecosystem we are having?
So we face the same challenge of how to make the niche areas so that we can really bring something that is very specific to each of our nations to be really, really good and really compete with so-called like the giants of the science and technology in the world. And I think we can be successful in this if we learn and share from each other. And so we're learning from the Indian companies and industries about the technology itself, while the Indian industries are actually working together with us about what is the most efficient way of really harvesting the seaweed from Indonesia.
How this partnership is going to elevate entrepreneurship in science, technology, and innovation.
Yeah, we're thinking about having the same kind of model of investment from industry directly to university research that will benefit the industry themselves. And to do this, I think it will be very exciting to see both industry, Indian industry that need to invest in Indonesia and need laborers, high-skilled laborers that can be produced directly from Indonesia, and vice versa.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking to DD India. So, when we talk about the bilateral ties, they're going to strengthen in the area of science, technology, and innovation with the technology transfer. With the camera person Uttam, this is Anshul Gulati Gumbar reporting from Jakarta, Indonesia for DD India.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given a major boost to India-Indonesia's comprehensive strategic partnership. To understand more about economic benefits for both the democracies, DD India's Deepika Mehto got in an exclusive conversation with Luhut Binsar Panjaitan, Chairman of the National Economic Council of Indonesia. Take a listen.
And Indonesia in Jakarta, we are now joined by the Chairman of the National Economic Council of Indonesia. Sir, thank you so much for exclusively talking to us.
Thank you.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Parliament. He also shared a joint statement with President Prabowo Subianto, and a lot of commitments were made. How do you look at this particular visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Indonesia?
Well, I think this is a very strategic visit. Because if you look at historically the relationship between India and Indonesia, since Indonesian independence, very, very close. And we understand also India a lot of progress in terms of technology. So President Prabowo pushed us very much to much closer with Indian government today.
And how important the relationship is for the Indo-Pacific and the safe navigation of it?
Yes, I think very important. Again, the location of Indonesia and India. This is, I think, we should make much closer collaboration between India and Indonesia. And I'm pretty confident that collaboration on technology, very important, because you are also a lot of good technology in India.
How do you think India and Indonesia can collaborate with each other in this front that can benefit the economy of both the countries?
Economic collaboration. I mentioned earlier that a lot of things that we can do together. Downstreaming minerals, downstreaming agriculture. I think India technology and raw material Indonesia, we can get a benefit both.
Thank you so much for talking to us. So there you heard the chairman of the Economic Council of Indonesia, who talked about Indo-Indonesia relations and how they are going to benefit both the countries and the economies of both the countries, as the vision remains the same and the aim also remains the same for both the countries. With camera person Uttam, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Jakarta, Indonesia.
Well, India and Indonesia held extensive discussions on key range of sectors, including maritime cooperation, people-to-people ties and other development experiences.
Several bilateral agreements have been concluded. Focus now was on what the forward-looking agenda will be for our comprehensive partnership across all the 6 main areas that characterize our bilateral relations, starting from security and defense, maritime cooperation, the area of developing the people-to-people civilizational connect, the decision to actively share each other's development experience, because we are both very large countries. Our governments are involved in development work, getting our populations who are, who are afflicted by poverty out and giving them better quality of life. So there was a lot of exchange on that. There was also discussions on how India and Indonesia could collaborate at the international level to strengthen the voice of Global South.
Well, India and Indonesia reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening maritime security in the Indo-Pacific, renewing cooperation on maritime safety, coastal surveillance, humanitarian assistance, disaster response, pollution control and search and rescue operations.
There was a discussion how we could collaborate in the area of expanding our mutual maritime domain awareness. In this regard, we are very pleased to know that the decision has been taken for Indonesia to place a liaison officer in the Indian Ocean Region Fusion Center in Gurugram in India. There was also discussions on enhancing maritime connectivity.
Well, the special briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs stated that the leaders acknowledged the complementarities between India's Viksit Bharat 2047 vision and Indonesia's Indonesia IMAS 2045 National Development Agenda, expressing confidence that deeper economic integration could unlock significant new opportunities.
Prime Minister and the President also discussed how to expand our economic collaboration. As you know, for ourselves, currently bilateral trade is at around $25 billion, which doesn't reflect the size of our economies, the size of our markets. So discussions centered around taking forward cooperation in areas such as critical minerals, in joining our innovation ecosystems, in getting our digital infrastructure to collaborate so that, there was a discussion on how to link our payment systems, our digital payment systems to the Indonesian payment systems. There were discussions on expanding cooperation in the pharmaceutical.
While Sandeep Chakravarti, the Indian ambassador to Indonesia, spoke about the proposed IIMB campus in Indonesia, saying it represents a significant step in advancing educational collaboration and supports a shared commitment to developing future-ready leadership talent for the region.
सिंगासारी स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन जो शिक्षा पर डेडिकेटेड है मालांग में ईस्ट जावा में उनके स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन और आईआईएम बेंगलोर के बीच में कल समझौता हुआ और वो कैंपस शुरू करने वाले हैं बहुत जल्द और ये पहला कैंपस होगा आईआईएम बेंगलोर का विश्व में और मुझे जितना लगता है कि विश्व में ये दूसरा आईआईएम का कैंपस है अबू धाबी में कैंपस है और द्वितीय कैंपस यहाँ खुलने वाला है.
Well, from Indonesia, at the invitation of his Australian counterpart, Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will travel to Melbourne. He will also hold wide-ranging discussions with Prime Minister Albanese, taking forward relations in the areas of defence and security, trade and investments, education and mobility and people-to-people ties. The visit is expected to further strengthen comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. In Melbourne, Prime Minister Modi will also have the opportunity to interact with Indian diaspora, which is an important pillar of our strategic partnership. Further, this visit will also provide an opportunity for India and Australia to deepen bilateral ties in the areas of emerging and critical technologies, sports and sports science. And updates now on the West Asia conflict. The US military has launched a series of strikes against Iran in response to attacks on 3 commercial vessels that were transiting the Strait of Hormuz. US Central Command said on Tuesday it had begun the assault to impose heavy cost for targeting and attacking commercial shipping crewed by innocent individuals in the international waterway. Well, the U.S. official said that the military is targeting air defenses, coastal surveillance sites, surface-to-air missile sites, anti-ship cruise missile sites, drone launch sites and port facilities. Iranian state media said strikes had hit Qashm Island, Bandar Abbas and Sirik, where people have been injured by shrapnel. Now, Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister called the U.S. attacks a violation of the U.S.-Iran memorandum signed last month. Kazem Karibabadi, Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister, insisted Iran would take decisive actions to safeguard its national interest and security. Well, hours after the 3 tankers were struck by projectiles, the United States revoked a license that authorizing the sale of Iranian oil as part of the interim deal to end the fighting between the U.S. and Iran. Now, Iran's foreign ministry condemned the U.S. Treasury move to revoke the temporary suspension of sanctions on Iranian oil sales. The ministry said that the decision breached the memorandum, holding Washington responsible for the consequences. The ministry also said that Iran would take any measure it deemed necessary to safeguard its interest and national security. The revoked waiver listed on the Treasury Department's website said the move was effective immediately. It also said any production, delivery or sale of Iranian oil must be wound down by July 17th. The waiver had originally allowed sales until 21st of August. And on to some sports news now. News from FIFA. Defending champions Argentina are through to the FIFA World Cup quarterfinals after producing a stunning late comeback, with Lionel Messi once again at the heart of the victory. Argentina fought back from 2 goals down to defeat Egypt 3-2 in a dramatic round of 16 clash in Atlanta. Well, Switzerland have booked their place in the FIFA World Cup quarterfinals for the first time since 1954 after edging Colombia in a dramatic penalty shootout, and will now face defending champions Argentina. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from Al Fasair in Delhi. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.